Well, good evening, internets. It's me, DP Knudten, for another edition of BOOKWARD BOUND, my 301-day live stream consecutive daily journey from I should really do that to done. And that done is the creation of a brand new book by January 1st, 2021. Or, to be a little bit more accurate, the uploading of a finished book in the form of press-ready PDFs to Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing platform by January 1st of 2021, because that's exactly what I'm going to do. And the way I've been going about doing it is by coming down here and working on it every single night for about anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour, just to move the book forward in one form or another. And that's what I'm doing tonight because, frankly, you're making me. On, what was it, Friday, March 5th, earlier this year in 2020, I made the promise to you and to myself to actually do this, to do a live stream every single flippin' night until the book was done. Now, I will admit that there were 2 nights there where I had Lyme disease and was getting over that, where I didn't come down here because, frankly, I was sick as a dog. But I came down here that 3rd night and kept going, so I kind of think I'm still on a streak. And thank you very much for that, because you are my coach and my pain in the butt. It keeps me coming down here, and I do very much appreciate it. So much so that I invite you to join me on this little quest. And tonight, I think I'm going to continue working on what I was doing last night, which is writing a section about my friend and current guest of this week's Nonfiction Brand podcast episode, Don Stanley. Now, I'm not going to explain everything to you because hopefully contextually you'll be able to get to the Nonfiction Brand podcast and listen to both episodes 109 and 109 and 110. This week's episode came out today, is 110, and that features Don. So check those out and you'll know what I'm talking about here. So, hold on. Yeah, that light's too hot. Sorry. Needed to adjust my cinematography a little bit because I care. All right, so that's just great, you know. Tell me right now. Patient for position. Student. Good. Does. Off. Assist. So. Appropriately skeptical. Our conclusions were definitive. Our conclusions were definitive and provable, and sure applicable to all it takes is to accept execute. Experiment. It worked for. All right, so at the end of each section about a person, got a thing called the nonfiction moral. So I need to Don's story. So what is the moral of Don's story? If you want to discover you specific vocal style. How about there's only one way? Only one way to discover the best for you and your specific vocal style. Get. Take. Patient. Diligent. Wait. Diligent. Patient and diligent. Weak. You. Weak. How about that? The nonfiction brand moral of Don's story. There's only one way to discover the channel that works best for you and your specific vocal style. How about we just get rid of the... Let's focus on one. Could be, you have to get out there, take a chance, be patient and diligent, then continue to tweak the work. Then the experiment. Okay. How about that? How about that? One of the ooh, sorry, man. I should have been doing this. I'm sitting over here typing, and you're looking at me staring at the screen. Duh. The skepticism, we talk about that. Purely theoretical. Anything. Marketing class even with. Be that enthusiastic about this. Leave it. I gotta write about this. Have I talked about voice? Teach what you know. Stanley, teach what you know. Go. Oh, you know. Leave the personal power. Ooh, and I can grab Don's photo. I have that, so let's look at this. Podcast guest photos. Don Stanley. I need to open this up. Just color, because it's grayscale. And I'm going to make this square 741 by, get it to exactly 7. There we go. It's my square. Except I maybe make it more of a, about an 800 by 8. Peg best quality. Underscore GS for scale. Save it. I think I will give him a little bit more. Yeah, cool. That. And drag it on here. I'm going to scale this thing because I want to get it to 300 dpi. Right now it's at 800 pixels by 800 pixels at 72 dpi. If I go 250 on this, that's going to get it closer to 300. Bet you I could go 200. That's close. And again, I'm going to be messing with a lot of this formatting stuff in Microsoft Word when I get to that stage. I am not at that stage as yet, but at least I've got the photo in place, which will make it easier for me when I get around to it. Science. Communicators. But it's interesting that a gentleman on the far side of the hill is having to control them and understanding that similar peers have embraced natively for years. Standing. Demonstrate. Teach what you know. All right, cool. So that's 1477 words. Yay. So that'll be, let's do a little math with my calculator. Let's see. 1477 divided by 300 equals, oops. 1477 divided by 300 equals, yeah, just under 5 pages, potentially. 300 words a page. Yeah, that's cool. That works. So I am going to go ahead and give Don a blue flag. From yellow to blue. Blue means, hey, this section is done. It may not be completely proofed yet, or it may need a little bit of editing as well, but it's not something you have to write from scratch, worry about at this point. So I'm going to embrace the heck out of that. What else? I'm looking back in Scrivener at other sections I need to worry about. As you can see, the front of the book is looking pretty good. Hold on. There we go. The front of the book, all those green and blue flags are doing pretty well. There's the occasional odd vulnerability. Oh, what's your flagship question? That's where you talk about vocal. You know, my biz, what's the difference? It's not about a app. How about that? It's not about apps. About your voice. Yeah. Good. Because this is the bigger idea that I definitely want to talk about. So that's cool. Good. They're doing it. Demonstrating. Meet the personal brand. Yeah. Discovering, demonstrating that. Real life, IRL. Oh, IRL in real life. I'm gonna have to think about this because all right, so what I'm getting hung up on right now is structure, structurally related. Like I've got a general 3-section structure where I make the case for personal branding, talk about what nonfiction branding is in relationship to personal branding. Then I go into a whole thing about discovering and demonstrating your completely true, completely you brand. And talking about things like differentiation and demonstration. And a bunch of people who are actually doing it. And so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, skip 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 maybe. Figure, let's see, 4 to 5, let's say 5, 4, times 16. That section would be 64 pages. Probably more like 70. Maybe 75 pages. Yeah. Need to think about this. So I've kind of reached a pothole in the road that stopped me in my tracks. So a lot of times that's that's fate's way of saying, why don't you stop for tonight and let your subconscious chew on this all night long while you sleep, and tomorrow you're going to have a solution. So I'm going to listen to myself, and that's what I'm going to do, because I learned a long time ago, if I come to a wall in the road, don't bang your head against it until it starts to bleed. Give yourself a little bit of break, shuffle it off to the subconscious part of your brain, and let it have some time to figure out what the solution is. And let me tell you, that served me throughout my career. I learned this a long time ago when I worked for a guy who was one of those late night bosses. No one left until he did. Well, that was a real pain for me because I was a morning person. That's when my power cycle was. So I learned a long time ago not to worry about that stuff. And instead, when I reach a sticking point, unless I'm on the tightest of deadline, I'm going to give myself a little room for my subconscious brain to actually work on it. So that's what I'm going to do. That's it for me tonight. I'm DP Knudten for the Nonfiction Brand podcast. A new episode just came out today featuring Don Stanley, who I just wrote about in this book. And he's a real cool guy. It's episode 110, which means I've been doing this over 2 years. Holy crap, holy. And it's a really interesting episode, so I hope you'll check it out wherever you get your fine podcasts for free. Just search Nonfiction Brand and look for this image of a smiling guy in black and white with the words Nonfiction Brand next to him, and you will have found the right place. That is the Nonfiction Brand podcast. Available free on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, just about any place high-quality free podcasts are, in fact, free. So check that out. And if you like it, please like it. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe it if you want to become a real friend. And if you want to be a super-duper best friend who does me a huge favor, refer it to other people. And by all means, give it a review wherever you get your podcast, because that helps other people find the podcast. That's it for me tonight. I will see you tomorrow. But until then, theme music, take us on out. I'll see you tomorrow.